Good morning. Good morning, everybody, from the land of 10,000 lakes here in beautiful Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's Summer Games Done Quick 2016. Welcome in. Good morning. You guys are a lively bunch. Good to have you all here. I am Golden, alongside the man who puts the entertainment in Nintendo Entertainment System. It's feasel. Welcome to the show.
I was wondering where you're going with
also
that.
have the quietest person I've ever met, spikevegeta, on the panel. And we've got the West's best at Dragon Quest. It's Clear Tonic on the panel as well. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning to you all. I want to start by just reminding the folks at home that all week long you can keep the conversation going using hashtag SGDQ2016. So you can feel free to tweet all your memes at me. Looking forward to it. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about the event itself too before we go into the schedule. I want to talk and remind people that we are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, a fantastic charity, and you can already get your donations in for things, so go ahead and start doing that if you are so inclined. Let's talk a little bit about this schedule and what makes it so unique from some of the other GDQ schedules. Feasel, why don't you go ahead and start?
Well, you're going to see a few things different here. A few blocks are going to be in prime time that you're not used to seeing, maybe. In the PlayStation block, we got Spyro and Ratchet & Clank coming up on Monday. The indie block will be in prime time. You're going to see things like Super Meat Boy. We got a Disney block on Wednesday, Rescue Rangers 2, Mickey Mousecapade, among others. And another big difference is you're not going to see an Awful Games block during this marathon, which doesn't mean that there's not going to be awful games. There sure will be.
They're there.
Yeah, they'll be there.
There are many awful games in the schedule.
We've just decided to surprise you with them instead of warning you about it in advance.
Right, they're just going to be spread all over the place, so everyone gets a little taste of the other side of speedrunning there. Yeah.
I like how you call it the other side.
The other side.
Most of the
Well, we've also got a lot of licensed games, and there are some franchises that haven't really had a chance to be showcased on the stage before. We're seeing Harry Potter games represented this time around. We're seeing a huge Star Wars block this time around. If you're fans of, I don't know, the Land Before Time, do you remember those movies? We've got the Land Before Time here at Summer Games Done Quick. You're not going to get that anywhere else. So quite a few licensed games this time around, and some series that you might not be familiar with the games themselves, but you're going to recognize the characters and enjoy those runs. Let's talk about some of the other parts of the schedule too. Tonic, what are you looking at?
Yeah, so if you're somebody who comes for the big hitter classics, you're not going to be disappointed with this schedule. But you're going to see categories that maybe you haven't seen before. We've got Ocarina of Time, we've got Glitchless for that. We've got a 4-way race of Pokemon Red. So if you're somebody who wants to see the Zeldas, the Marios, they're going to be here. So on top of all the other variety that we've got going on in this schedule, you're going to see the big hitters too.
You're also seeing, like, I'm not offending anyone, I hope, by this, but like the red-headed stepchildren of some of these series that we're used to seeing, stuff like Mega Man 2 and 3, stuff like Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. You're going to get to see, this is the year. I like to think of GDQs as trying to be like a snapshot of the year. And 2016 is the year of games like Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man 8. Tonic is a runner of Mega Man 8. You've seen that community, we'll say blossom. People are bored. I don't know, they got to go to other speed games. But here they are on showcase for you guys, and they are insane. There are very, very passionate communities behind them. And I'm going to go ahead and say it right here. You guys like Super Mario 64, keep it. I'm kicking it off with an even better 3D Mario in Super Mario Sunshine coming up right after this by Bounceyboy.
That's big.
There you go. Well, the audience approves. The audience agrees with you, and I think the reason they did is because we made it an entrance requirement that they all had to post a time in Mario Sunshine to get in this room. So
on speedrun.com, it is the third most popular game. It's got like 575 times
That's
or something.
insane.
I can't crack the top 500 in that game.
Yeah, that is insane. Speaking of Mario Sunshine, our first runner of the event is Bounceyboy, and he is up and ready to go. And we've actually got the 5th member of our team, Darkman, standing with him for an interview. So Darkman, take it away.
All right, guys, welcome back. I am Darkman, and here with me is a good friend of mine, Bounceyboy. He is our Super Mario Sunshine runner. He's going to be going very shortly. And Bounceyboy, welcome. Glad to have you here. So, first off, excited, nervous? I mean, how are you feeling right now?
A little bit nervous, but, you know, it's GDQ, which is super exciting and awesome.
Awesome. So, I mean, how does it feel for you to be the first game of SGDQ16? I mean, you have, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but you have this huge crowd behind us. I mean, some of the most high energy crowd you'll ever see. You know, it's the first run of the marathon. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Come on. There we go. That's right. So, I mean, They're going wild, folks. They're going wild. So, I mean, how does that feel to you? Like, does that put maybe more pressure on you? Or, I mean, like, how do you feel about that?
Well, you're not really going to do a run in a GDQ and not have it be high pressure. So I am very excited, and a lot of people were like predicting that I'd be the first run, but it didn't really feel like it was going to happen until all the schedule. And it's kind of surreal, but it's really awesome, and I'm happy to open it.
Awesome. All right. So, I guess I want to say, why Super Mario Sunshine? I mean, it's like you said, it seems like a lot of people in the speedrunning community, they predicted that this would be the opener. I mean, you could make a case for so many games. There's 150 games on the schedule. Why Super Mario Sunshine? You tell me.
I think just because it has like the summer feel, it's fun. It has a lot of like fast-paced movement and some really cool tricks. And I feel like it's a really good run to start off and show what speedrunning is, because it's just a great speed game.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what I want to hear. It's definitely a fast-paced and frantic game. I love it. I mean, real quick, you talk about speedrunning. Just give me a quick story. How'd you get into speedrunning? There's so many people watching here, whether they're in the crowd or whether they're watching at home, and they may be nervous about getting into speedrunning. Tell me the quick synopsis. How'd you get into speedrunning?
I started because I was watching, I think, Let's Plays on YouTube, and then I saw in like recommended videos, I saw Ocarina of Time in 30 minutes or whatever it was by Narcissa, and I watched that and was like, oh my god, this is like the coolest thing ever, because the wrong warp and all this really cool stuff. And then so I just decided to give it a shot, and I was supposed to race a friend, and it just kind of kept going.
Awesome. Yeah. Just goes to show you, folks, that it's very easy to get into speedrunning. People like Bounceyboy, they just get in just by watching a video, so don't be afraid. All right, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank Bounceyboy for taking the time for his busy schedule to interview with us, and we're going to kick it back to Golden and the other guys.
All right, thank you, Darkman and Bounceyboy, reporting live from Isle Delfino. We appreciate that interview. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about the Zelda games that we're going to be seeing this time around. A little bit of an unheralded story this time around. Not the usual suspects. Starting with Link's Awakening DX. This is a game that we haven't seen since 2014. We're seeing the 100% version of this run, and Zorlax is going to be the runner. He has the record in both that and no save and quit, so we've got a very talented runner in that game. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other ones that we're going to see.
Yeah,
too.
Link's Awakening DX is a great example. I mean, we've got three of, in my opinion, as much as I love Link to the Past, three of the absolute best top-down 2D Zelda games. Some people might not know as much about them as speed games. Four Swords Adventure and Link Between Worlds are maybe the two best-paced speed runs out there, Zelda or otherwise. Four Swords Adventure, ZFG, I'm sure some of you out there have heard of him. He came into my chat when I was like, I don't know if it deserves to be in the schedule. And he's like, you're an idiot, which he was right. But he also wanted to let me know that this is the fastest-paced Zelda game out there. It is just mind-blowing the pace it goes at. And also Link Between Worlds, one of the game of the years from a few years ago, is finally getting its next showcase by a Hamplin, the second run right after Bounceyboy doing Sunshine. And it's so well paced. There's such a good balance of, skip certain dungeons, spoilers alert, just like really good movement tech all the way throughout, and just fast paced. So make sure you check out both these great top-down 2D Zeldas.
Yeah, so in addition to that, we also have Ocarina of Time returning, but this time it's going to be glitchless. So we've seen any percent before, we've seen 100% before, but we haven't seen glitchless. And what that means is that Link is going to go from the start of the game to the end of the game without any glitches, no wrong warping, no weird tricks that maybe you don't understand. So everybody at home will have a chance to really understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think part of what people design Ocarina of Time any percent and they see how broken it is, they desire to see the game they recognize, and they're going to get to see more of that kind of complete picture in glitchless, but you're still going to see a fantastic speed run.
It's very fast. It's still under 4 hours, so it's not like he's going to be taking his time. It's going to be quick. Everything's going to be boom, boom, boom. So,
Right, and of course, there's going to be Zelda 2, a game near and dear to my heart.
I feel like you should take this one,
Sure,
yes.
right. And it's interesting because the category choice here, it's any percent deathless. It's the most classic category. This is the category that made Zelda 2 big as a speed game. And this is also one of the most difficult categories. Not only is it the most punishing, you have experience management to work with as well, and so it's going to be a hard one. And the big story here, though, is Pro JN versus Simple Dude. Clash of the Titans here, two giants of this game. And JN, that's someone you've seen before. He did a run of this category last year and did a fantastic job, a sub-hour run there. And at some point in time, JN held most of the records for this game, although in recent times, Simple Dude has started to sweep the leaderboard. He's actually ended up taking the records for a lot of different categories. But Simple Dude, he's a big question mark. You know, he doesn't stream with the camera, he doesn't really talk much, he doesn't do live events. So this is going to be the first time any of us are seeing him. We don't even know what he looks like. So I don't know that this live setting is going to be the same kind of thing at all as what we saw in their regular race.
I mean, we've seen that in just about every game out there. You know, some people just excel their first time up here on stage. They love it. They love the atmosphere. They thrive off of that energy from the crowd. And then you've got people who just get very nervous. And so that can lead to an exciting race because somebody who could be the favorite suddenly, takes second place or third place or even, dies somewhere in the run because they have those nerves.
We're not wishing that on anybody.
Not that I'm
but
saying
it
it's
can
going to
happen.
happen. Yeah, it's going to be a good race, but definitely the nerves will play a factor in it too. I want to talk about how you at home can get involved in this marathon. Not only can you donate to Doctors Without Borders, but your donations can influence what's happening in the marathon itself. So don't think of the schedule as static. There's certainly opportunities for you to get involved. Spike, let's talk about some of the donation incentives we have this time around.
Yeah, let's talk about the DLC, because that's really what it is here, but it's much more fun, I trust you, I promise you. For the GDQs, that I challenge you guys to go to gamesdonequick.com, get on the tracker and check out. It's not just a save, kill the animals button, I promise you. There are so many great, I know you think that, there's so many great incentives on there. One of my absolute favorites is always the naming incentives. Make sure to check out stuff like Final Fantasy VI, all the Zelda file names, and you might be sitting at home like, I've only got like $5 to donate. There's no way I'm going to be able to name one of the characters of Zelda 2. No, get in your $5 right now. You really want Link to be named Jeff? Get in your $5 right now. Get a lot more people. I'm sorry for what I just did. And get a lot. Oh, everything's Jeff. You can get a lot more people kind of on the bandwagon with you, kind of start the, just the steamroll, start the snowball going downhill, and get a lot more people like, yeah, that guy's right, I'm with him. And then before you know it, you have a unique name of Jeff for your Zelda character. Yeah. So,
well, I appreciate that, and actually, I've just been notified that we received a donation to change your name to Jeff. So,
oh wow.
Thank you, Jeff, for those donation incentives. Let's talk a little bit about the bonus games that people can add, because you can actually add entire games to the schedule too.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a certain type of donation incentive that we've got games that are sort of floating out there, and if the incentive gets met and we've got time in the schedule, we'll just add a new game. So we can either have standard runs of games, or we can have glitch exhibitions. So we have a Pokemon Blue glitch exhibition, and I don't know if you know this, but speedrunners play their games a lot, so they've probably seen things that people haven't seen before. So these are like very cool glitch exhibitions. And a game that can be added to the schedule is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But this is going to be blindfolded. So Romscout's going to go through this game with blindfold on and not be able to see anything. He's going to have to use his audio senses. It's going to be crazy.
Worth noting, too, that as of yesterday, he managed to glitch the audio out of the game in a blindfold run. So I don't know how he's going to finish it if he does that.
That would not end well. No.
That's going to be
I will
dangerous.
donate my entire bank account. There's not much in it, but if he could beat it with that.
Yeah, and by the way, we did check the blindfold, and there are no holes in it. So it is actually going to be a blindfolded run if you get that in. It's very impressive. We'll hopefully get to see that. Let's talk a little bit about how you can also win some prizes at home, too, because not only when you donate do you influence the marathon, but you have a chance to win some of the prizes that you see on the table here. Actually, everything on the table is up for grabs, and we've got much more than that, too.
Right, yeah, good old-fashioned prizes. We got a whole table of prizes here, not just the stuff here. We have all kinds of things behind the scenes and things that aren't even on site. We got plushies, we have perlers, there's all kinds of artwork. We got the Save and Kill the Animals. There's Save and Kill the Animals wood paintings. We've got this original artwork right here, which is going to be a prize during the Link Between Worlds run coming up soon. The important thing is go to GamesDoneQuick.com and check out the prize tracker to find out the minimum donation amount for each of these prizes and the period of time in which you have to donate, because each of these prizes is associated with a certain block of games. So you got to know when to get your donation in if you want to qualify for that. And from time to time throughout this marathon, in between runs, our prize guy Scent is going to pop up and show what are some of the upcoming prizes. So stay tuned and watch him.
Yeah, and let's also talk a little bit about the grand prize, because I know everybody wants to win a prize, but only one person can win the grand prize. This year, if you win the grand prize, you're taking home an Xbox One with rare replay. So
Whoa, nice.
That's a good, nice prize.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
I mean,
good.
you're helping out charity at the same time. We're giving back to you. So
I actually didn't know that. That was a surprise
there
for
you
all
go.
of us.
I just
That
dropped
was
that
very
knowledge
genuine.
bomb, and if it's wrong, I guess they'll have to go buy an Xbox One. So hopefully that's right. Let's talk a little bit too about the big races that we have at this event. We have a lot of races this time. We've got 4-player Pokemon for the first time. We had never seen that before. We've got Tetris Attack. I know those are very heated players. They get into competition with that game a lot. And it's going to blow your mind how good they are at Tetris Attack. But there is one 4-player race that everybody's going to be talking about after this event, and that is the Super Metroid race that is happening on Saturday. You know, people like to say the SGDQ 2014 race was the Super Metroid race. After this week, people are definitely going to be saying, this was the Super Metroid race. You know, this
Dang.
was the one.
That's a tough one to top. That's a statement you're making right there.
We've got, let me just go through the players we've got for you. We've got Zost, who you've seen 5 times already on stage with Super Metroid. We've got Oats and Goats coming back from last year. We've got Sweet Num, who is living with him, so whoever wins out of the two of them will bug the other one for the remainder of eternity. And the other one will probably move out, forcing the winner to pay more rent. So there's some competition there. We also have Behemoth. And he is, like you mentioned earlier with Zelda 2, he's an X factor. We don't really know what he's going to bring to the table. He's a routing master. Let's talk just more in depth about these guys here, get to know them a little bit.
The one I want to focus on is actually Sweet Num, because you might sit here and say, oh, are these really the Titans? Sweet Num was actually a fill-in for another runner. He's got the 7th place time. I actually like him a lot for this race. I think, you know, whether or not he wins, I think he's going to perform very well. Feasel, I know you were part of running the Super Metroid tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And how well did Sweet Num do in that?
Well, he won that tournament, actually. He was completely undefeated and not a single death in the entire tournament, which is amazing, because in that game, even the
Zost
top
couldn't
tier
do that.
players-
I'm not calling you out,
Right.
buddy. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a game you're going to die in. Even the better you are, the more likely you are to die, because the closer you cut it. But no, very consistent. One of the most consistent Super Metroid players I've ever seen.
Yeah, Sweet Num sitting at a 43-20. His PB is behind everybody else's. But that being said, a personal best doesn't dictate how you're going to play on that stage. You know, somebody that is more consistent is going to win in that one-off race. You don't really get a chance to just play perfectly. So we'll see how he does with that. I also want to talk a little bit about Behemoth, since we haven't really had a chance to meet him yet.
Sure. So Behemoth is somebody who's sort of been in the shadows for this game, but he's extremely confident when it comes to anything Super Metroid. He's responsible for developing faster, more dangerous routes that pretty much everybody has lived up to these days. And he's somebody who's held the record in the past. So he's showing up at this event, and we haven't seen him at a live event at all before, but he wouldn't show up at this kind of event unless he was completely prepared and ready to go. So
Yeah.
we don't know what to see out of him.
I think in his case, the question is, why this event? You know, I mean, he's had opportunities to come in the past. Why now? And I feel like the answer to that is because he's ready. He wouldn't be here without that. So,
And no disrespect to the others, but we have to. It'd be very bad of us to not bring up Oats and Goats, because for years, if you just watch the GDQs, you think this is Zost's game and Zost's game alone. Oats and Goats, after dying 13 minutes into the 4-way Super Metroid race last SGDQ, came back and took the record. Storyline there where he was ready to hang it up. Just not play Super Metroid anymore.
Before that race,
Yeah.
he said, like, this is going to be it for me. I just want to do this and be done. And then when he died, I feel like that just lit a fire in him and said, like, hey, I really want to do more with this game, and I don't feel like I've left it yet. And suddenly he's tied for the record, and he's back on stage competing again. So I think he's ready to go. I mean, he's got that energy, and he wants it really badly. So
No doubt.
Now, that all being said, you still have Zost.
He's all right at the game.
He's
Yeah.
proven himself on this stage many times. So with that being said, let me get a prediction from you guys. Who do you think is going to take it and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I guess I have to say Sweet Num, just because of race consistency, maybe?
Okay, I'm gonna look like an idiot for this, but I'm gonna go with Oats and Goats. Like, this is kind of the high roll. He either is going to win this race, I am very confident he can, or he's gonna die once again very early on. It's kind of all or nothing for him, I think. Is he gonna let the emotions get a hold of him? But as a teammate of his, I'm gonna have to vote Oats and Goats.
I genuinely have to say Behemoth because I don't think he would
Not a popular
come
opinion.
here.
All right.
No, I think he would come here fully prepared. We don't know what to expect out of him, but he wouldn't show up at this kind of event without having everything down and being ready for this race because it is a big race with a top 7 in a highly competitive game.
Right.
So.
I think the defining question here is this a changing of the guard situation? Can Zost hang on to what he's proven is kind of his game, or are we going to see somebody step up? And I think until you can prove that that's possible, I'm just sticking with Zost. If I'm a betting man, if I'm betting on
We
the
left
odds,
you the easy
that's
pick.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's right. All right. With that in mind, we've got to kind of wrap this up here. It looks like we are almost ready to go. So let's get into the lightning round very quickly here. Some fast, rapid questions for all of you. And here we go. I prepared these lightning round questions specifically for this moment. Here we
I can tell you probably put a lot of time into this.
All right. As quickly as you can, give me the answers, starting with Tonic. We're seeing Mario Maker for the second time. Why?
1, 2, 3 Bowsers.
Wow. Tetris the Grandmaster feasel. Very quickly describe it.
Falling blocks really, really fast.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Excellent. Spike Vegeta. What chemical element with a monoclinic crystal structure has a melting point of 639.5 degrees Celsius?
Chlorine.
Incorrect.
Damn
Anybody
it.
else?
I'm going to
Anybody
have to
else?
jump in here and say plutonium.
It's plutonium.
Yeah, it's plutonium. That's
What?
right. How didn't you know that?
Come on.
It's okay, buddy.
Study harder next time. I don't know. Feasel, what do you think of this audience's energy?
I don't know. 0 out of 10 right now.
Is that better?
That's like a 6 out of 10.
It's like a 6 out of 10.
It's a solid 6.
All right.
All right, that's better.
That's
Okay.
better. All right, they're
Okay.
getting there. They'll be a 10 out of 10 in due time. All right, Tonic, question for you. There are a lot of attractive people at this event, but who is the most attractive runner?
If I had to guess, I think I'm going to have to go with Darkman78.
Darkman 78.
There he is.
That just happened. All right, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. Who is the creepiest runner?
If I had to guess, I'm also going to go with Darkman78.
Correct.
Very
was
nice.
kinda
He's a man of
creepy,
many personalities. All right, and final question here over to Spike. In as few words as possible, please describe what is Pepsi Man?
Pepsi Man!
All right.
That's really creepy the way
That's-
he's looking at you.
Pepsi Man!
You know, you just said Darkman was the creepiest. I don't know.
I'm
That's-
changing my-
he's
I
changed
still,
my
he's still
answer.
holding the face there. That's incredible. All right, well, I think we've exhausted all the...
There's nothing in that can. What is he doing?
I think we've exhausted all of our worth to the marathon here, so we're going to wrap it up. I know you guys are excited for SGDQ. One more time, let's make some noise and get ready here for Summer Games Done Quick 2016. I want to thank Darkman for the interview. I want to thank Tonic, Spike Vegeta, and Feasel for being on the panel with me. I'm Golden. You'll see us all throughout this week as we do interviews. But for now, let's throw it up to the front. Cool Maddie's ready to kick this marathon off.
All right, thanks everybody. So, welcome to Summer Games Done Quick 2016. And before we get anywhere, I'd just like to remind everyone we are not sponsored by Pepsi. However, this event is, of course, for Doctors Without Borders. They are a great charity, and we'll be here in just a second with my friend here, Todd. Before we go into a little bit about Doctors Without Borders, I'd like to thank some of our sponsors. We have Twitch, Humble Bundle, Power Up Audio, Support Class, World 9 Gaming, The Yeti, Tiny Build, Something Artistic, and of course Save Point doing our arcade. Also, I'd like to give a special shout out to Jim and the OBS team for doing fantastic work leading up to the event to make sure we have some rockin' software for this event. But before we move on, let's go to Todd Stanhope. And you want to tell us about the charity and your work?
I'd love to. Thank you so much for the opportunity. First of all, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of Doctors Without Borders. Let me take that back. Thank you to Summer Games Done Quick for making this the charity of choice. Last year, 2015, Summer Games Done Quick raised $1.2 million for Doctors Without Borders, which was the single largest fundraiser for our organization. So again, thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you guys just a little bit about Doctors Without Borders. Essentially, it started back in the early 1970s when a few rogue French doctors decided they wanted to change the world and started by delivering some health care in Nigeria. Fast forward 45 years later, we are now a multinational organization that delivers health care in over 70 countries on any given day. To the credits of the organization, a Nobel Peace Prize was won in 1999. You may be familiar with us from our work that we do in wartime crises, natural disasters. We were heavily involved in the Ebola epidemic, and we do hospital support through countries throughout the world who aren't capable of doing that. Myself, I recently returned from Awil, South Sudan, the world's newest country, which has been in conflict due to civil war since about 2013. Our mission there was to support a hospital where we delivered 3 types of care: maternity, malnutrition, and pediatric care. We operated a 192-bed hospital. In a year, we do about 5,000 deliveries, treat over 10,000 patients for malaria, and take care of thousands of kids with malnutrition, all on a budget of about $5 million. So you can see that the money that you guys give through Summer Games Done Quick has an immense impact. And I say, hey, let's go for it. Let's raise enough money this year to fund the entire Awil Civil Hospital for an entire year. So please, enjoy the Summer Games Done Quick, and as you have the opportunity, as you're able, please donate to Doctors Without Borders. Thank you again, everybody, and have a great event.
All right, and with that, I think we're about ready to toss it over to Bounceyboy with Super Mario Sunshine. Let's get ready for a countdown, guys.